Hey there, Ken and your crew. I understand that there's a great deal of interest in looking at some investment opportunities here in Fort Worth or Tarrant County. So Ken has asked me to come on and share with you some of my expertise and what I'm seeing in the residential real estate market here in Fort Worth. But before I do that, I want to just explain to you who I am. I'm Callie Ritchie. I am a broker and owner, been in business for 13 years, but I've lived here in Tarrant County for 30 years. I first moved to Grapevine when I was a senior in high school, which is right next to the airport, went to my undergrad and grad school here. And as I started having children and creating families, me and a lot of my siblings and friends, we moved northwest to where we call kind of the Alliance area now. It's been a very popular place because it was a great affordability and raising, buying a first-time home, raising your children, but also really great school districts and very close proximity to get to the airport, to Dallas, or even to central or downtown Fort Worth. So I'm going to show you a little bit about where that is and some other opportunities here in Tarrant County. So let me share my screen and get straight over there. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a map of Tarrant County and all these pockets of where new construction is happening. So one of the things I really want to focus and zone in on is this right here, I-35, right here. I-35 goes down to Austin and then goes all the way up to Oklahoma. So, and the reason I want to show that is because you do see some new construction on the east side of 35. Now, in here in these areas, though, Grapevine, Trophy Club, Roanoke, or Keller and Mansfield, down in Mansfield, really some of those are really great areas to be because of the schools and location and amenities that are in the areas. However, a different price point. So when I say different price point, you might find, I don't know if you're going to find anything under 500 in those price points. So maybe more like 600. So if we really want to stay with something that might be a little bit more affordable and still in some great areas, we really want to look on the west side of Fort Worth. And you might have already heard that a lot of the growth is happening in this Alliance corridor right here and pushing up north. They're predicting that this area might be the center of the Metroplex at some point because of everything that is happening in Northwest Fort Worth. Why is it a great location to be in? Well, you can see the airport being right here. Very easy shot out to the airport. A lot of construction, the freeways have been developing to make it very accessible. It takes about 30 minutes to get there to all the way over here, maybe 20 minutes to get to the airport. But along this area, you still have a lot of companies that have been coming in. And Hillwood, which was part of Ross Perot development, owned a lot of this land out here. And so as they started to develop this area, they brought in Charles Schwab, who just built this huge, massive company there. The Fidelity is there. Lots of other transportation, Facebook's there. And then going up north or on the 35, you've got the Alliance Airport here, the Texas Motor Speedway, and let's see what else you've got. Amazon is there. So a lot of other companies that have been growing and migrating from the west over to this area. Hillwood has done a fantastic job on creating or instigating really all of this development that we have been seeing. So where we're at on this west side of 35. So you've got Keller, you've got Hazlitt, Roanoke, Justin, Rome, Newark. All of this area down to Saginaw has been a very hot location to be. The median sales price in those areas on the west side of 34 is going to be about $335. We've had about 2 months supply of inventory, so still a strong market. And partly because of the location, but also the good school districts. So you've got Keller and Northwest ISD, which are very popular school districts and where a lot of people are moving to raise their families. So in this area is where we're seeing a lot of the construction. You can probably pick up some homes that are under 300. I've seen some as low as in the 270 range. Now, of course, that's going to be about a 1,200 square foot home. But most of them are seeing as cheap as 295. And then a really good sweet spot is that 295 to the 340. Of course, there's other neighborhoods that start 500, 600 and go on up, but a really sweet spot is that right under 300 to that 340. Those are going to be about 1,500 square feet homes to, 2,000, 2,200 square feet homes. What are they going to cash flow for? So purchasing, like I said, right under 300 to 340, you're going to cash flow a 1,500 to 1,800 square foot home for about probably more around 2,200, 2,150 to 2,250 or 2,300 a month. As we get to 1,900, 2,000, square feet, you're going to look at a cash flow of about 2,300, 2,350, and then on up. So those are some really good sweet spots. So again, Alliance Corridor right here, lots of great shopping, dining, lots of building happening, lots of great companies moving in, and good school districts. And again, close proximity to get to the airport. And it takes me about 30 minutes to get to downtown Fort Worth to have all of that. But very seldomly do we even need to leave because we've got a lot of entertainment that's happening all in this area. So that is probably my number one location to choose, not only because I live here, but just because, again, of all those other factors that I was mentioning, location, proximity, school districts, that is really a sweet, sweet spot. As a matter of fact, I truly believe in it because I also own several rental properties in this area as well, and they do very well, and they stay leased out. I think the longest I have not had one leased out might have been a month, and that was during Christmas holiday last year. It was vacant for 3 weeks during Christmas and New Year's. So there you go. Everything else is renting out very nicely. So that is this northwest area of Fort Worth. Let me take you to two other locations in Tarrant County, Fort Worth, not really Fort Worth proper, but this actually is Fort Worth proper. And this is what we call the White Settlement area, Benbrook area. And this pushes out to Weatherford. So there's a lot of growth that it happens. You don't see the neighborhoods going out here because that's a different county, but Weatherford is becoming a lot of growth from here to Weatherford is occurring. There are some of the school districts are more preferred, but this is more of a Fort Worth ISD. Not as popular as those ones I was telling you about in Keller or in Northwest. Nonetheless, we do see a lot of growth out here, a lot of building that's happening, a lot of shopping, dining, a lot of amenities in those areas for residents. But because it's popular shooting in that, because of the growth, again, pushing out on the west side of Fort Worth. The last area that I would mention here is this just right down south, again, on the west side of 35. And this is more Crowley ISD. Not, again, as popular as being in Keller or Northwest ISD. Nonetheless, we do see, as you can see, about 413 homes, new construction that are either on the market or pending or whatnot. So we see a lot of growth in that southern section because that's where there's some more land to build. Not my favorite, again, because really there's not just a whole lot in the southern section. It becomes more rural in that area. So not as many amenity opportunities for residents. The only benefit to this is the short proximity. Again, maybe about 30 minutes away to get to downtown Fort Worth. But as you can see, I'm a little bit more leaning towards this northwest section because it's the easy the quickest way to get to the airport for those who need to commute, who travel, and then also just the good school districts and the good, all the different amenities in that area and all the growth that is happening, all the companies that are moving in Tarrant County are really pushing into that direction of Tarrant County. A couple other areas I do want to mention, just to give you a broader scope of everything. Oh, and one final thing I do want to say about that is we still see those median sales price somewhere around that $330,000 mark. As far as the markets down here, not as hot and as popular as the Northwest markets are. But everybody is still sitting about 2 months supply of inventory, so still a strong market, but it's going to get a little bit more competitive up in the Northwest. As far as what we had seen since the market has been so volatile over the last year, we did see prices in September start to kind of trickle their ways down. But we have seen them, I think I always say it's like the 5 stages of grief that buyers went through, not knowing what to do. And so the market halted pretty much everywhere, but we have seen it start to come back to a more normal market. I still say not normal because we're still very short on inventory in these areas. But we've seen those prices, in other words, come back up to where they were last year. Okay, so as I mentioned, I want to show you a couple other locations here in the Metroplex. Down here in Mansfield, you're going to see that is still in Tarrant County. It's a great area to be in, really great schools, but higher price point. So when I say higher price point, probably going to be in the 500s-600s on new construction in that area. But Mansfield is an up and coming location nonetheless, and has been really popular. A lot of businesses moving in, infrastructure building out, and people gravitating towards that area. As we get further out into the other counties of the Metroplex, we've got, of course, you got Dallas, and then you got Collin County. And where we're at with the airport somewhere around this area right in here, from that pushing up north into Frisco, Prosper, McKinney, over to Allen, Plano, down to Irving, Coppell. Those are really, really, I would almost say, Frisco, Plano, those area, Coppell, those are probably I would almost say our hottest market that we have in the Metroplex. A lot of companies moving in there from the West Coast over to your tech companies and whatnot. A lot of growth, a lot of great schools. Again, the one of the issues is the price point. It's not as affordable as being in Tarrant County. So price points, you're going to, I don't even know I think 600 is really going to be a starting price point for new construction. And we do have a lot of clients that move over into that area as well. Those that have the money to be over in that area as opposed to the Fort Worth side. But is very, very, very probably one of our most competitive areas. And our clients that are moving over there and looking at new construction are literally on a waiting list for probably about a year just to get the contract signed. So it's a great location to be, but might not be the easiest one if you're looking for something that's new construction and something that is not as, or that might be more affordable. So that's my presentation for you guys. Hopefully that gives you some insight on some different areas to look at and about how the market is working in this area. So I'm sure if you guys have more questions, I'll be happy to answer those. But hopefully we'll see you here pretty soon in Fort Worth, and we'll be able to help you make that purchase of your investment property here. Take care.